Hi, my name is Adam Trevino. Welcome to the video. This is my woman's guide to eating 140 grams of protein a day. And so this is built specifically for busy women over the age of 40 years old, those who sit all day, hasn't been able to create a plan for themselves to be able to eat enough protein. And so again, this is just built for those wanting to build strength, feel energized, feel comfortable in their skin again. And you might be asking yourself, okay, why the hell should I even trust this guy? So before we even jump into some of these things, I wanted to go through a few examples of how I've helped women and some of the testimonials I've been able to help these women achieve. So my client April dropped 27.2 pounds. My client Davita, I actually need to update her photo, but she's been able to drop 21 pounds. She's a respiratory therapist and 62 years old. My client Holly Blank, she's 56 years old, dropped 17 pounds. And there's a whole bunch more, right? I mean, I've helped a lot of women be able to achieve their desired result when it comes to their bodies. And so again, a big missing piece to all of this was understanding that, a lot of women were struggling with getting the appropriate amounts of nutrients in. And so, especially for those who are very busy over the age of 40, they're wanting to lose weight, their energy is dipped, they're trying to put together, recipes, plans, and there's just so much overwhelming information out there. I know how difficult that can be to put together. And so this is what this guide is created for. So what to expect out of this? We're going to focus on prioritizing balanced meals, so simple, nutritious meals. We're going to master quick meal prep, so things that don't take a lot of time to create. They're simple, tasty, delicious. Consistent meal timing, so even creating meals and snacks that help throughout the day, because I know that putting easy grab and go options together can be difficult. And of course, understanding portion control, not deprivation, right? We want to be able to include things, but within a balance, right? Be able to have some of our favorite foods, enjoy the things that we love, go out to eat, have a glass of wine. All of those things are what make these sorts of approaches much more realistic. So even with the busy schedule, I want to make sure that this is something that's enjoyable for you. Okay, so what you'll see here in this guide, and I'll make sure again to tag this link down below. Weekly meal plans takes about 30 to 45 minutes. You can join our free group here, but I want you to start focusing on how you can commit to at least 7 days of this. Take each day, each week at a time. Okay, so what are our main goals to first be able to lose weight effectively? We need to make sure we're staying in a calorie deficit. So what does that mean? You need to start holding a journal, being mindful of how much you're consuming per day, aiming for around 300 to 500 calorie deficit. Okay. We're going to start prioritizing gradual healthy and sustainable choices when it comes to the foods that you're eating. So we want to stray away from unprocessed foods. We want to make sure we get plenty of sleep at night. Okay. We want to make sure we're calculating the appropriate amount of calories. So I've built an online calculator to track that. And then we want to make sure we're just enjoying enough or hydrating enough to make sure we're staying hydrated throughout the day, drinking enough water. And then, of course, incorporating strength training and cardio. So without those two things, holistically, this is not going to work. And so what I'll end up doing is tagging my other video down below where it gives you some structure in terms of the types of workouts you should be doing. But I'll make sure that that's included as well, so you can include the strength training along with this nutrition guide here. Okay. So the next thing we want to jump into is tracking calories and macronutrients. So why is it important to even track your intake to begin with? We want to get a clear understanding of how much you're eating. Number one, it promotes more accountability and self-awareness with your choices, and it helps you identify eating patterns. Perhaps on days that you're much more busier, you're traveling, you're sick, anything that we may need to adjust. Once we have that data on hand, it's much easier to manage, and you're able to make informed decisions from that point forward. So log everything. Make sure you got a weight scale, a food scale, and you're measuring accurately. You're reading labels, you're being consistent doing these things. Make sure you have some form of accountability. So whether it's with a coach, whether it's a friend, a partner, spouse, whatever, find a community, get accountability, someone that just is there. You're reporting to them. You're telling them, okay, this is what I'm eating. They're checking in on you. You have some sense of reporting happening. Similar to a busy job, you want to have something that's allowing you to stay consistent. And then, of course, using the proper tools, MyFitnessPal, Lose It app, again, the food scale, cups, spoons, anything that's helpful for you. I've attached my shop to Amazon there if you want to look at some of the items that I have. So I'm not going to go through all of this, but this is just some ideas to give you in terms of a macro cheat sheet. So some good protein options, carb options, some fat options. I've listed the exact calories for each item here, as well as their macros, as well as the amount of servings for that item to give you an idea of what sort of foods you can start including. Okay. Again, I'm not going to go through all of this, but this is just some of my favorite items I like to include within my meals. And then, of course, as you go through that, it can be a lot more helpful to kind of build out your meals based off of the fats, the carbs, the proteins. Okay. Similar to this, some similar meal options that can be helpful. So if you prefer some meat options, some seafood options, these are primarily my top protein items I like to include. Some dairy is okay, as well as some top carb choices that can be really helpful as well. So go through this. This is just a little bit of feedback, some information based off of what you'll see here in terms of these meal choices. But these are some of the recommendations I really like. Okay. Now, for the fun part, some quick and delicious high protein meals. How do we hit that 140 grams of protein per day with ease? We need simple, brain dead meals. So I've listed some breakfast options, I've listed some lunch options, and I've listed some dinner options. Again, I'm not going to go through everything here. I've also included the prep time it takes for these items, some ingredients. You do not have to make these exactly as they show here, but they just give you an idea of what to expect with some of these meals. I think as we kind of go on, it can get a little bit boring, including some of these things. So stock up on your sauces, your seasonings, look at the nutrition facts, make sure that they're low calorie, and you can start adding them to these sorts of meals to give them that spark, that life, and it can make it much more enjoyable to eat. But you'll notice here, these are 2, 3 ingredient meals that don't really require a lot of prep time or a lot of thought to make. Something as simple as ground beef and rice, a chicken salad, or a salad with chicken, right? So just simple items that don't require a lot of thought. Those are going to take you much further than these crazy recipes that you're downloading off of Instagram. Try to just stick to 2 to 3 ingredient meals. Okay. Now, the core, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? So what do they need to include in order for you to actually effectively be able to see results? So I always recommend a breakfast. Stop skipping it. Start including some protein. 40 to 50 grams of protein with your breakfast. Start front loading your day rather than backfilling. The lunchtime, that's a good time to recharge. So maybe if you've hit a workout first thing in the morning, which is 99% of the time something I recommend doing, as opposed to doing at the end of the day, this can help you sustain your energy and avoid the 1 to 2 p.m. crashes. So for those that do wake up early and hit a workout and you're going on with your day, it's already like 1 or 2 p.m. You want to make sure you're having something that sustains your energy. You don't feel that crash. And then come dinner time, you're nourishing your body. You have a good evening meal. It's nothing too late at night where you're filled up. It's hard to go to bed. That's what I typically like to focus on with my meals. Okay. Now, in terms of these meals, this is what I typically like to recommend when it comes to overall nutrition principles to obtain optimal results. So number 1 is portion control. Understanding portions, understanding the size of your plate, getting smaller plates or smaller bowls. Second thing is prioritizing protein. I would typically actually make this the top of the pyramid, or the bottom of the pyramid rather. This is a foundational piece to making sure you're seeing results. Hydrating, being mindful of your foods, and just consistent meal timing. I think that's really underrated. Just getting on a good solid schedule can be really helpful. You're not putting more carbs at breakfast time and then skipping lunch and then eating a snack, and then you're not having like 1 meal one day and then 4 meals the next day, and then carb loading on a weekend or something. Consistent meal timing makes it much easier to stick to. So this goes back to our journal. The more you're able to track certain days, certain situations, scenarios, the more you can identify with pre-planning for situations and times like that. So that way in the future, whenever you're going to run into a birthday, you're going to run into a busy day, a busy week, a travel period, you know exactly what you can change to make sure you're having that consistent meal timing. And the thing is, you don't need to be perfect with it. We just need to be consistent. Okay. That's the big thing around this. Now, tracking your progress. This is big as well. So not only are you going to be tracking the meals that you're eating, you want to track if it's actually working. So get the food scale, get your weight scale, and actually download an app that you can use to start monitoring your data. At the same time, take some progress photos, take into account how clothes are fitting, your measurements, notice your energy levels, your hunger patterns, your focus, your mood. All of these different pillars are going to be really important, even beyond just what the scale is telling you. Right? The scale isn't the only thing that's going to provide you with the progress. It's everything else as well. So make sure you're taking care of your overall well-being. As so long you're doing that, the rest of the results follow. Whether that's in the form of your clothes fitting, whether that's in the form of just feeling comfortable in your skin again, taking photos again, all these different things, those are much more ideal examples of progress as opposed to just looking at the number on the scale. So something I really like to take a look at. The next thing, effective nutrition strategies for busy desk workers. So let's skip the extreme restrictions, keto, intermittent fasting, carnivore, Optavia. Let's skip the skipping of meals, inconsistent eating patterns. Stop relying on quick fixes like detoxes and cleanses. Cookie cutter meal plans don't work. You need something that's for you and you only. Okay. So here's what actually works: balanced meals with plenty of protein, good fiber, healthy fats, consistent meal timing, like I talked about, strategic portion control, and simple, easy, repeatable meals. That's going to be big. Now, some frequently asked questions, and I move myself out of the way here because we're towards the end of the presentation. So, what if I have a busy week and I can't meal prep? Focus on healthy meal options. Pick up, if you've got the resources, foods that are already pre-made, rotisserie chickens, pre-mealed, meal simple items at the grocery store, right? Things that don't require a lot of prep, eggs, maple turkey bacon, things like that. Do I need special ingredients or equipment? No. Basic tools, a pan is all you need. I also would recommend that something that gets very heavily overlooked is utilizing good set it and forget it resources. Crock pots. You got your microwave. You got your oven. Invest in an air fryer, right? A rice cooker. All these things, you're able to put the meals in there, set it, forget it. You don't have to worry about it. Less cleanup. Can you still enjoy your favorite foods and eat out? Absolutely, as so long you're tracking your meals and you know how much you're consuming. That way you're able to pre-plan ahead of time and you can enjoy those meals guilt-free. Okay. Now, this is a blueprint. This isn't the entire thing. We want to be of help for you. So if you feel like you're stuck and you're not able to see your belly budge, you're having trouble putting this plan together on your own, this is what I help women over 40 years old do. So if you're ready to truly transform your body and health, balance your hormones, boost your energy, feel confident and amazing in your clothes again, I've got deeper personalized support. I've tagged the link down below. Simply submit an application. I'll reach back out to you. This is where we can get really hands-on, develop a customized meal plan for you, develop exercises for you, get clear on your schedule, get clear on what's holding you back, and really be able to dive into a full strategy. This is what I help my women with, and this is what I want to help you succeed with. So if you feel like you're stuck in your overall journey and you want to be able to push that boundary, reach that next level, this is what I'm here to do. Last but not least, take action. Just do something. Get a group, a community, be involved. This is something I also have within my program as well. Get really hands-on with this because it's not just about doing things willy-nilly anymore. You've got to be involved. In order for it to become automatic, and something I was talking to my clients about today was, if you want this to be on autopilot, if you want this to be automatic, it's going to require some heavy thinking first. It's going to require some, planning first. It's going to be requiring accountability and coaching, being really good with being hands-on about being mindful of those decisions and those choices. Once you get really good at that, then the automatic happens. So take action. Again, I've tagged the links down below. If you have questions, follow me on my Instagram, send me a message. I'm here to help. I hope this guide is helpful for you. Again, I'm going to tag it down below. Otherwise, I really appreciate you jumping into the video, and we'll see you soon.